Hello and welcome to the last word on Spurs. We do hope you're keeping very, very safe and well. Wallace at the very, very top of the show, wishing you all a healthy and happy new year. We are back on the back of Tottenham Hotspur beating Bournemouth by 3-1 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. This is quite literally instant reaction to that game. It sees Tottenham Hotspur 1 point, of course, off the top four, a point behind Arsenal, and as we go in now, only believe level on points with champions Manchester City. That is just what it does to the Premier League. It's a massive win for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Cracks, Christina, Zandes, join me on this one. Thank you so much here. Instant analysis. Cracks, we're going to start with you on this last word on Spurs. Really important win, which I think as a whole really kind of, in a way, signifies how big 2023 has become for Tottenham under Ange. Give me your thoughts on that win and what it means for us all, Cracks.
Spursy, eh? Things Spursy. Level with City. Well, Arsenal winning the league, apparently, so the media tells me, and Spurs are Spursy, and we're a point behind them. So football is bonkers. Crazy game, crazy train. So, listen, Happy New Year, everyone. Feliz Año Nuevo and all that for those of you who speak Swedish. And what a game. I don't know. It's just, we was just briefly talking before we come on air. It was like 1,000 miles an hour first 10 minutes. Then it's backs against the wall. And then we get that second and you get like a whole season's worth of like DVD action in the last 20 minutes. It was crazy. But look, Bournemouth are on a really good run. Like we said in the last show, there's no little plucky teams in the Premier League anymore. None whatsoever. If you're up there, you've got to be right on it to win games. We're absolutely decimated with injuries, and a team that's won 6 of their last 7, we've put to the sword. So, you know, something's going right, and this with half a team missing. But I just wanted to say before you move on to the ever lovely Christina, it's lovely to see David Brooks come on today for Bournemouth, because I don't care who you support. I mean, there's a man that at one stage had a doctor sat in front of him and said, "I'm really sorry, Mr. Brooks, you have cancer." And not only did he overcome it, he's back playing football. So, I mean, honestly, to see him come on and see a man come back from that and keep his football career, and not just his health, his actual career, it always puts a smile on my face. Don't care who you support. So well done to him.
Absolutely, yeah. Lovely words there, Cracks. Most certainly we echo that here on Last One on Spurs. Chris, we're going to kick things off with you. What I've got to say is going to be a really mini post-match analysis here on Last Word on Spurs. Look, once again, as Cracks opened up and said it was an absolutely crazy game. Nickname a crazy train, of course, in Lee McQueen. Goals by Sarr, Son and Richie earned Spurs a hugely important win. But we saw Sarr and Davies leave the pitch in tears, both with respective injuries. Bournemouth on the day, I think they really pushed Tottenham hard. But what this does for Tottenham now is leaving just a point behind Arsenal. And, you know, given the way in which we've heard them fans go on about just what they're meant to be in this season, where does this leave Tottenham, Chris, going into, of course, the January transfer window, players hopefully coming back? That's a massive result, isn't it, Chris?
I mean, has Tottenham played if there isn't an injury in a game? So, gutted for him. It was heartbreaking, even at the end with, oh my God, I've forgotten his name now. Feliz, sorry. Yes, heartbreaking. That was horrible to see that at the end. But you know what, guys? We ended the year well. Great to see us get 3 points, 3 goals, and a bit of the cherry on top is to see Arsenal lose as well today. So all round, I'm very happy. So I'm looking forward to going to the year now. Hopefully with signings that are coming in. There's already a huge amount of rumours going on already, of course. But I feel like there's going to be magic that is going to be happening next year. Ange Postecoglou, thank you very much. Honestly, I'm really excited to have our team back as well. We struggled that, you know, well, most of the game, it was pretty much right at the end. It was where the spirit all started. But, you know, I just feel like with the players now, stop worrying about other people. Stop worrying about the other teammates sometimes. Be selfish. That's what I feel the issue is with Sonny at the moment. Right at the beginning, he was just more focusing on worrying about Brennan Johnson, maybe getting him a goal, which I get. That's fine. But you know what? you are the captain and you have the capability of doing what you can do. And that's exactly what he did at the end with that goal. He just needs to be selfish now. Go ahead and just go for them goals because you can do it. He can do it. We've seen it plenty of times. It's all about that confidence. Richie again scoring, which I thought was, it is great. He needs to keep doing it every game, needs to keep going and going. So I'm just looking forward to it now for the next year. And I think, beautifully ended with Arsenal losing.
Yeah, it's been a really, really lovely day, hasn't it? I mean, that's how you can all hopefully go and enjoy New Year's Eve very, very soon. We can't wait to get away. We're trying, Cracks, to bring you in. Look, let's be honest about it. It was a really strange, scrappy game, pretty ill-tempered by the end of it. Spurs weren't at their best. And again, we have to take into account a lot of absentees, exhausted players out there. But you know what I loved about today, Cracks? Spurs dug in. And ultimately, I think the quality really counted for something. Lo Celso, who I know that you still feel has got, there's a player in there. I think we've always said Lo Celso, you watch him as a player in there. Udogie as well. I think those were the two most impressive for me. Lovely to see Sonny, of course, scoring, of course, when he's just about to head off to AFCON. AFCON as in terms of part of the, obviously, group that we're losing. Yeah. Forgive me. How important it's
talking of losing, we've lost Christina. She's gone. She's out. She's out on the lash for New Year's Eve. Just you and I, Rick.
The guests are dropping like the players here at the moment.
It'll be just me in a minute, and I'm going to give everybody songs from the A Great American Songbook and finish off with an Engelbert Humperdinck number. Anyway, she's back now, Rick. Stop saying things like that about her. Come on.
Sorry about that, guys.
No, but in all honesty, Rich, in terms of the importance of that victory and in terms of digging in deep, is that what you want to see from a Spurs side? Because many have just said it's all about playing a swashbuckling football. I think today you've seen another side of Tottenham had to really dig in deep and get a result.
Yeah, we were in the trenches today, and people dug in. There was so much going on off the pitch, wasn't there? I mean, there's Ange absolutely having it on the touchline, wasn't he, during that melee? And then 5 minutes later, he's being dad to Veliz, who come off in absolute tears because he's got this unfortunate injury. He's caught his knee and then tried to make a run, and he's obviously opened up the ligaments during that challenge. You could just see that bond that's there, a wave, and that gets transferred and reflected on the pitch. That there's something that they're all buying into and they're all digging into, and even those that probably know they're going to be surplus to requirement have bought into this. And it was very, very, very good today. Just a weird game. That, as I said, that energy at the start, and then that not much really happening, and then that real swashbuckling end. So look, we can see something's there. We've been desperately unlucky with injuries, and there's been some silly suspensions, but Ange has still got like creases in his shirts from taking them out the packaging. He's so new, his manager's coat and that still got a hanger in the back of it, and yet he's brought us to where we are already. So as long as everybody goes with it, including the board in this upcoming window, go with it. Go and get him some players, because you really feel like there is something here to go with. But it was swashbuckling, and we dug in and we looked for each other, and it's promising, Rick. Like we said, there will be ups and downs, some big ups and some big downs, like Brighton, and then come back today. So, but there's something there to hang your hat on, that's for sure.
Yeah, there most certainly is. Now, like I say, it is a very, very quick post-match analysis on last one on Spurs. In terms of the team going into this one, obviously Postecoglou had that really nice surprise return of Rodrigo Bentancur being back in his starting 11, and even in the squad was a massive surprise as well. He was originally due to potentially return in February, so he is, of course, 6 weeks ahead of the initial schedule in what was a timely boost for Tottenham. The Spurs boss also kept faith in Emerson Royale in a makeshift central role. Eric Dyer, of course, has struggled to get into Postecoglou's plans, while teenagers Ashley Phillips and Alfie Dorrington are yet to make their senior debut. It again meant Spurs did start with 4 fullbacks as a unit, which did result before this game in conceding 9 goals in just the 3 games, but he still stuck with that same 11. Further up the pitch, Dejan Kulusevski's suspension opened the door for Giovanni Lo Celso to return to the left-hand side of the midfield 3, whilst Ollie Skip was fit after his knock, and he brought some fresh legs at the expense of Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. That Spurs team read Vicario, Porro, Emerson, Davies, Udogie, Sarr, Bentancur, Celso, Johnson, Richarlison, Son, with the substitutes of Forster, Dyer, Phillips, Dorrington, Skip, Højbjerg, Hill, Donnelly, Valiz, and Spurs got off to the perfect start, despite having a shaky, I would say, 4 or 5 minutes to begin with. Everyone would initially think it was be Son, signing off, of course, ahead of him departing for career duties. But it was Tottenham Hotspur's young Senegalese maestro star in Pape Matar Sarr. Neto kicked the ball out. Bentancur won a 50-50. Lascelles won a 50-50 with Cook. And then Sarr drove forward, rifled the ball into the corner before departing from the AFCON. We saw him leaving tears only 20 minutes after that, Christina. But lovely goal from Sarr, wasn't it? Took it so well. And I've got to say, I think we're going to really, really miss that guy. And throughout this period, we say again, players have been underrated under Ange. I think when you look at Pape Matar Sarr, he's been one for me that's been the unsung hero in that midfield, really since Ange has taken the job. And just what a star he's been so far this season under Ange Postecoglou, Chris.
Oh, man, I love Sarr, my star boy. Literally, he's been so brilliant for us. Those long legs of his, it's just tremendous what he can do on the pitch with them. But I don't know what's going on with the injury. I mean, I'm guessing he was probably feeling really emotional because obviously with the
AFCON.
what you call it, the AFCON. But I wonder if it's going to go ahead now with his injury. I don't know. We've got to find out that later on. But yeah, that's going to be a real big issue for us. I just think he's such a tremendous player. And I really want us to actually, extend his contract. I think that needs to happen. So yeah, I'm hoping for his sake, I want him to play for his, for his country. It would be great for him to do that. But, we've got to wait and see. I really wanted to give a shout out today with one of my favourites who I've mentioned a lot of times on this pod. Emerson Royale, I thought was absolutely outstanding today. Defensively, he was brilliant. Another one was Ben Davies as well. But for me, I thought Emerson Royale was by far my favourite player on that pitch today. So yeah, I felt I needed to give him a shout out for sure. Another one I thought was really good was Destiny as well today. I think he really kept the ball going. He had a lot of control on that pitch. So yeah, it was just, I thought, considering that it was pretty bad, the play at the beginning, I thought it ended really positively. And I think it's just completely made everyone's, oh, hi, Patrick. It's just, it completely helped all of our fans, spirits go up. And to end like that on New Year's Eve, I think is just a great way for Tottenham to go ahead to the new year. So yeah, all happy.
Listen, I totally agree with that. Live on direct outside the Tottenham Stadium. I don't know how he's done this, bless him. He's found a way. Can I just say it was absolutely hailing about 25 minutes ago. And where Pat is right now, it seems to have cleared. And there's a lightning bolt behind him. That's not God behind you, Pat, is it?
I'm trying to get some good lighting.
We've got you, bro.
So I've
I love that.
Yeah,
I love about this guy. I mean, absolutely hailing. He's outside the street and he's trying to find the good lighting. You can't make this up. Absolute star. Pat, you've just obviously witnessed that 3-1 against Bournemouth. Thoughts on the overall game for you being there? What did you make of that overall performance for you?
Really delighted with the performance I'm really delighted with the score. I thought we lived a charmed life. Thought Bournemouth were really good. They pegged us in from a lot of the game, especially at the end of the first half and the start of the second half. From like minute 45 to about minute 55, 60, they were in the ascendancy. Son scored against the run of play and that kind of deflated them. It's almost like one of those days where you're literally doing everything and you can't get the ball across the line. And then we kind of had a bit of momentum. It was annoying that we played the last 10 minutes with obviously 10 men because Valiz got injured. He tried to continue to run on it, so hopefully he hasn't overdone whatever injury he sustained. He hasn't exerted it. But I thought it was a professional performance. I caught the end of Christina's speech, and I agree. I thought Emerson Royale, I'm one of the guys that is quick to criticise him. Today he was fantastic. Ben Davies was fantastic. Their makeshift centre-backs, playing their full-backs playing as centre-backs. Today they were really good. I was worried going into this game because Bournemouth were in good form. Solanke is a top striker. And to be fair, we kind of kept them quiet in that sense. Bournemouth kept obviously going down the right wing and just overloading that side of the pitch. But yeah, in terms of our performance today, it was good, man. And then obviously, I'm sure you guys have seen the scoreline with the other guys, So yeah, it's brilliant, man. It's brilliant. And at the end of the day, sometimes you're not going to play the prettiest football. Today wasn't exactly, mouth-watering or great on the eye. But at the end of the day, we scored 3 goals, got the win, and we move on to the next game. Obviously, Bentancur being back as well was fantastic. What a boost. I don't know how they kept that quiet, but they did, because literally no one saw that come in. And he played 60 minutes, looked really good. And you just see the difference. But he's so calm on the ball. He just keeps things ticking. He usually makes the right pass. He just, like, when he's on the ball, he's got all the time in the world. He's a magnificent defender, man. He's been out for, 2 months, a month and a bit. And even before, he had just come back and he looks up to speed straight away. But yeah, I'm really impressed with that performance today. Sometimes you're not going to play the best football, but get the win, man. And we did that.
Totally agree, Pat. Absolutely spot on. Cracks, want to get your thoughts quickly on Sarr, the importance of the goal for him. Such a shame now to be losing him, obviously, of course, during the AFCON period. We are still waiting for Ange's press conference, so we'll try and hopefully have enough time to give you an update on where we stand with that. But Cracks, just how much of an unsung hero has he been for you, Pape Matar Sarr, since really he started under Ange at the beginning of the season?
I don't even think he's unsung, Rick. I think a lot of people are seeing his qualities, and he was magnificent again today. He's, he has many more good games than he has poor ones, that's for sure. And he's going to be a big loss when he goes. So, look, that period of bringing in Udogie, who also was fantastic today, Sarr, somebody at Spurs, won't mention their name, is really doing their homework. They brought in Sarr, Udogie, Vicario in goal. So whoever it is that's coming together and picking up these youngsters, keep going. Go and find another 4 or 5. And I would absolutely love to see that team chock full of youngsters that come through together and go somewhere, because there's some kids there with very, very bright futures. Johnson as well, I think certainly has. So, keep going. But Sarr, brilliant today. Gutty, I really hope that he's just a minor knock and he can go and play for his country, because you could see how much it meant to him, and a happy player is a good player. I know a lot of people are like, oh, we've lost a player to the international team, but it means a lot to some people. It might not to everybody, but if that player, it means a lot to them to represent their country, then so be it. And if they go away and they're happy, it makes them happy people, happy humans to represent their country, then brilliant. He comes back a happy man if he does well, and we go from there. Yeah, of course, it hurts to lose these players, but all teams are losing some players in these competitions, So, he was brilliant today, and he has been brilliant for us. Good player, good future.
Yep, totally agree. Look, really important player to Tottenham. And Cracks, a stat that you kindly, I think you actually provided ahead of the game, was that Spurs could have equalled a new record. They have now scored in 32 consecutive Premier League games. These boys don't stop scoring. We don't stop scoring. Whatever we say in terms of certain games where we're not playing at our absolute maximum, isn't it lovely to know that Spurs, you feel under Ange, always got to go on them, Cracks, haven't they? Always got to go on them.
And a big up to King Hoddle in the comments, who's here for every show, and he's reminded us, I see a little while ago, of that stat again. That is now 32 games, and I believe that equals the 61 double winning season. I think it was definitely the early 60s the last time we done that. So 32 games. Look, if you're scoring goals, somebody's either got to score 1 just to get a draw and score 2 to beat you. So, if you're getting a goal in every game, then you that's half the battle, isn't it? So brilliant. Just keep going, keep doing what you're doing, keep adding some players into the mix that we desperately need, and we build, and we've got something. We're going somewhere. For a terrible injury-ravaged season, that table makes for interesting reading this evening, that's for sure.
It does. It just shows you in football as well, sometimes how, with different results, how things can massively change. We were here a couple of days ago against Brighton. I think we were all massively disappointed in terms of the result overall, past the performance. But I think what we all said on that show is that we can all still see there's a plan, there's a rhythm. You can see what we're trying to do. And ultimately with Tottenham, I've got to say, I think that's the most enjoyable thing under Ange. We can see that plan coming together. Now, let's be honest, it wasn't all plain sailing after Spurs did go ahead. There was some excellent work from Richie. Taverner's free kick bent towards the bottom corner until Richarlison stood bravely loads ahead behind. And Spurs, it so often happens, seems to hit a wall before half-time. And Bournemouth kept on pressing and pressing us. And they were so close to 1-1. Ottawa given too much space. He teed up Solanke, but Davies didn't deflect his effort onto the crossbar. And to be fair, Spurs were fortunate to go in 1-0 up at half-time because Bournemouth did keep on pressing. Second half-wise, Spurs made some changes we saw. Højbjerg came on from Bentancur, who did well to get an hour under his belt on his surprise return straight into the starting lineup. I think, look, as we've always said with Bentancur, more minutes, more quality we'll most certainly see. And we saw Linney, a beautiful goal for Spurs at the start of that second half. Lo Celso playing in Son, who picked out Richie, perfectly running through on goal before the Brazilians somehow rolled it wide. And I've got to say, Postecoglou looked so distinctly unimpressed at that time from Richie. But look, he made up for it later on. But let's come to Chris, one of your favourite players, Sonny, who unfortunately we know we're going to lose due to, obviously, of course, South Korea's participation in their own tournament coming up. Not sure on that date. We'll confirm once we know it. But it was his 12th of the campaign. Spurs really needed it at the time. Lovely assist from Lo Celso with his outside of his left foot on the run for the captain. Cracking finish into the far corner. How crucial, do we say, Chris, goals in games at that time? Sorry to get that goal for Tottenham.
So good. Such a good goal. The confidence was, it was beautiful. That's exactly what he needed to do for that game. Man, I could go on forever talking about how much I love Sonny. I'm really nervous about him leaving for us for a bit. He's our captain. You know, he's got so much character on the pitch and outside. He is literally there for all the teammates. He's there for the fans. He's there for the manager. He's just perfection to me. He's the perfect, ideal football player. And I think he is absolutely incredible. And he's still, you know, there's still criticism. I can't believe it. Still to this day about him, which I can't believe. But you know what? He doesn't care. He still goes for it. He's still scoring goals. And, you know, it's just phenomenal watching him every time. Like I said earlier, you know, I felt earlier in the game, he was just more concerned about the other players. I've really felt that first chance in the beginning, he really wanted Brennan Johnson to score, where he should have just gone for it himself. That's exactly what he just needs to be selfish. Just be selfish. He is more than capable to do it. And, you know, that I loved seeing goals like that from him because he can do it. There's not a lot of players that can do that, you know, and it's just so good watching him, you know, all those goals that we've seen all in the past, you know, with Tottenham. And I just think it's been the best decision having him as captain. One of the best things that Ange has done for sure. So I'm looking forward to see what else he could do. You know, I'm sure there's plenty more goals to come, but I think he's going to be a big loss for us when he is to do for his, you know, play for his country. Yeah. It's going to be, you know, a bit of a loss, but we can do it. If we can get through this whole month, we can do it. Of course we can. It's just, you know, I understand it the way fans, you know, we sometimes get a bit like, oh my God, what the hell is going to happen? You know, we've had our few losses. It was going to happen though, these ups and downs, no matter what you say. But when you look at us right now and the table, how we finish this, I can't believe it. I still can't believe it. But we can't be that bad to be able to be behind Arsenal, who supposedly are going to be, you know, winning the league. So it really can't be that bad, guys. I just feel, like I said, again, plenty of times I've said this is going to be the warm-up season for Ange. So there is so much more good to come for Tottenham. This is a plan that we've got. We have now got a decent manager who is listening, who is watching these players, knowing exactly what they can do. And he's positioning them to, you know, to get the best out of them. We literally cannot fail our manager in terms of getting the players that we need for, you know, in January season, you know, January transfer, and obviously in the summer. So honestly, I feel there's so much hope for Tottenham right now, and we should not be putting players down right now. We should just be going out there, supporting them, supporting the team. You know, tremendous. Our sport is always the best. So I honestly do feel there's going to be so much good to come in 2024 for Tottenham. So yeah.
Lovely words there, Chris. Lovely words. Pat, let's bring you in. Sonny, you saw him up close and personal today. Massive goal for him, Pat. In terms of the fact we're going to lose him for a period, are you confident, Pat, from what you've seen out there? And we know it wasn't pretty at all times in terms of the game. We've got enough now to see us through, because many would argue we've got through what we know is going to be one of the most hardest months of the season. We are going to get players back now. January transfer window is opening. Pat, how confident are you we're going to have a really, really exciting start to 2024 and we're not going to miss Sonny too much?
Oh, what a question. I mean, we are going to miss him. Of course we are, because he's such a good player. He's one of the best players in the league, one of the best players in the world. I mean, the goals, he set up Richie as well, put Richie in on a plate. Richie should have finished. Thankfully, Richie got his goal in the end anyway. Fantastic cross from Brennan Johnson. And for somebody who a lot of people have been getting onto, he's a kid. It's only a second season in the Premier League. And the end product is coming, as you saw today. But Son, going back to Son, yeah, of course we're going to miss him. He's one of the best players in world football. But I do feel with the way the squad is set up and the way people are coming back in, we still got, obviously, Kulusevski to come back in. Hopefully, some of the guys at AFCON won't go the whole tournament, so they'll come back. Bentancur, a nice surprise coming back early. Lo Celso looks better and better with every game. 2 assists today. He's starting to pull strings in the middle. So I feel we've got enough for Ange to be able to work what he's doing. Like Christina said, with everything that's happened, the way everyone wrote us off, the way we've, collapsed and allegedly that was it, we were done. Ange got found out, yada, yada, yada. And we're literally a point behind Arsenal. I haven't checked the table because obviously I'm out and about. But from my recollection, I think we're a point behind them. And we're literally 5 or 6 points off the top of the league, which is insane, like considering. A lot of these teams haven't gone through what we've gone through. And I know they say, like Arsenal fans will say, oh, Yori and Timber only played this guy. But they're not integral to the team. We've lost the spine of our centre-back. We've lost the spine of the team. We've lost so many important pieces. And yet we're still doing what we're doing. And I wanted to, I don't know why people are so pressed and sensitive about what I said the other day about Ange. Today they're like, oh, I hope Ange gets the credit. Of course, Ange gets the credit. When we win, I'm always shouting at Ange. I mean, he got manager of the month 3 months in a row. That was right. I've been on this show time and time again saying how good he is. But if, in my opinion, I felt that Ange didn't get it right, then I'm going to talk on it. I don't know why people are so upset. But yeah, of course he's going to get the credit today. That goes without saying. 3-1 win against a very good Bournemouth team in good form. We did ride our luck at times. I'm not going to sit here and lie about that. But at the end of the day, Ange is doing a fantastic job. But as Spurs fans, we are within our rights to say when we don't see something that we don't like or we think somebody could have done better. I think Son's fantastic. I think he's one of the best players in the world. I love him. Like Christina says, I think he's an amazing captain. I'm always on here bigging him up. But today, at times, I felt that he was a bit out of sorts. There was a time when he could have cut in and took a shot. He didn't. Like Christina said, sometimes overplaying it and thinking it. But at the end of the day, when you need Son to be clinical and ruthless, he is. So, yeah. I mean, when Harry Kane was here, there was times when he didn't have a good game and we would talk on it. Doesn't mean he wasn't the best striker in the world or the best striker in the league. I don't know why some people hang on to every word and they're so sensitive. Relax, chill out. It's New Year's Eve. Like, we just won. Chill.
Pat, listen, mate, I think I say where we are right now, just to bring you up to speed on that table at the moment, Spurs currently sitting in 5th. They're a point off Arsenal. They are only 3 points off the top of Liverpool. So that tells you where Spurs are right now. Really, really good place in the table. Obviously, Lo Celso was one of the standout players. He, of course, made the second goal of the game. His assist for the day, 2 assists, 2 key passes, 34 out of 37 passes completed, 3 out of 3 successful dribbles, 10 out of 13 ground duels won, 4 fouls committed, 3 tackles, 1 clearance, 1 interception. A really brilliant show from the Argentine midfielder. The only thing about Lo Celso really is just a shame we just can't keep the guy fit. Because quite honestly, I've got to say, that's just the only sticking point over Giovanni Lo Celso. And like Ange said in his pre-match before the game, he didn't want to drop Lo Celso. He wasn't fit enough. Otherwise, he would have been playing. So that tells you everything you need to know. In terms of the rest of how that game played out very, very quickly, triple change for Tottenham. We saw Valiz Dyer, Hill coming on. Just before, of course, Richie getting his goal, which made it 3-0. Almost a carbon copy of the Everton game. Emerson playing the ball over the top to Johnson. He hit it first time on the run into the path of Richie, who touched it home confidently. It's 5 out of 5 for him. Really, really important for him, you feel, going into a point of the season where he will probably be Spurs' leading forward. There's no doubt about that. And again, will make maybe Spurs' hierarchy think whether they will dip into the market for a potential forward. Look, I think the argument will be Spurs do need, in my opinion, a potential another forward. Whether they do that, we'll have to wait and see. Alex Scott, Spurs boy, Spurs fan, getting one back for the visitors to make it 3-1. Brian Hill, 2 yards out. I can see Crackers like his dad looking so disappointed.
Goodness, he's at the time.
It is. I won't even ask Crackers thoughts on that. 2 yards out, Brian Hill couldn't unfortunately head it home. There was an altercation towards the end. Villiers could barely move, and Postecoglou and Lascelles so just kept shouting for him to go down so you can get some treatment. But someone on the Bournemouth bench took exception to that, and that's one of the angles we've actually ever seen Ange. He was fuming on the touchline. He got a yellow card. Villiers came off. All very, very emotional.
You flaming galah!
But Spurs did hold on for a 3-1 victory, which of course sees them cement fifth spot in the Premier League. Like we said, only now a point off the top 4, point off Arsenal, couple of points off Liverpool at the very top of the league. Now, it wouldn't be fair if we didn't look to try and close this show on some departing words from Hugo Lloris. Now, we can confirm, as per obviously what's been announced in the last few days, Lloris will depart the club on a permanent transfer to MLS side Los Angeles FC. He is one of the club's greatest ever servants. He's 7th on our all-time appearance list with 447 appearances. And captain, of course, for 9 years. He'll end an 11-year association with the football club. His farewell message said to the Spurs fan base, thank you for your support from day one. It's been a great privilege to be one of you, one of your captains for many, many years. I think it's the end of the chapter. You'll always be in my heart throughout my entire life. Spurs will always be a special place for me and my family. On behalf of everyone, I'd like to say thank you for all the memories that we had together, all the emotions that we went through. I just want to wish you all the best for the next decade because you deserve the best. Look, we're really lucky that Hugo is leaving the club in a period where arguably, I think in my lifetime, I mean, Vicario has been undeniably one of the stalwarts that we've seen as a goalkeeper to come in and have an incredible start to the season. So Spurs are in safe hands, quite literally, when it comes to that. Pat, you were live and direct there at the Spurs Stadium when, of course, at half-time, Hugo addressed the crowd. Thoughts on that addressing, Pat, and how did that go for you there very quickly with Hugo?
Yeah, it was a lovely ceremony. Ledley King came out and handed over, I don't know, like a box or like a trophy or something to say, like, thank you for, the 11 years and being a great captain. And everything he said was well said. He seemed really emotional. The crowd hung on to every word. Everyone was quiet. And, usually sometimes when they do these halftime shows, people are talking over the whoever the host or the guest are. But everyone was quiet. Everyone was respectful. He got a massive standing ovation, and it was great to see. Obviously, the ending of his career, especially that Newcastle game, wasn't the best. But if you take that out and just look at the 11 years and some of the amazing saves and contributions that he gave to the club, it was a really nice send-off. Great time as well, like New Year's Eve. Fantastic that we finished the season this year strongly. And I thought it was a nice touch. And it was well received. And what he said was brilliant as well. He said, you've lost Hugo the player, but you haven't lost Hugo the man. I'm going to be a fan of Spurs for life. Something like that, along those lines.
Yeah.
Don't quote me verbatim, but it was something along those lines. And I thought it was fantastic, Ricky. And credit to him. He's fantastic. Probably the best goalkeeper I've seen in a Spurs shirt, obviously because of my age and stuff. But yeah, he was brilliant, man. And I wish him all the best. I really do.
Pat, really quickly, favourite Hugo memory for you?
I think it was that save in the Champions League. I'm not sure who it was against. Maybe I think it was against Dortmund, where literally someone was like 2 yards out and he he saved it and he rolled his body and he kept the ball over the line. I thought that save was amazing. So that was probably my Hugo moment.
Lovely words, Pat. Thank you so much. Pat, we're going to come around here in a second before we look to close. Cracks, let's go to you. Lloris departs the club. And as Pat said there, in terms of the words he said at that stadium, for sure, the future will be bright for Spurs. You make the club even more special. That's why I'm grateful to the fans for all the support I've received during my career. It's been an absolute privilege to be one of you. It's time for me to say goodbye, but it's goodbye from the player, not from the man. I'll be a Spurs man for the rest of my life. Thoughts on those words, Cracks, quickly, and your favourite Hugo memory for you?
What you want to hear, isn't it? I mean, what a servant and what a keeper, by the way. Technically, a brilliant keeper. Those last couple of years where it wasn't as good, certainly don't take any sheen off of a career that he's had with us. And a career as a goalkeeper, by the way, World Cup winner, incredible keeper. It's a position that's changed more than any other on the pitch. It's ridiculous how football's goalkeeping has changed, and he sat a little bit in the old world, but played into the new world where keepers are now footballers. He never grew up and learned to play that way, but yet he still held his own. Fantastic servant and a fantastic keeper. I won't hear anybody say, yeah, but this, that and the other. 2018, 2019, I was speaking to my young lad, Tom, that absolutely lives and breathes goalkeeping. And he said during that time, he was insane, an insane goalkeeper. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Got to be the penalty save versus Arsenal, isn't it? For me, with Hugo. I mean, the moment you do that in the North London derby, you're instant legend status, isn't it? Really. So, but great, a quiet captain. Wasn't very goalkeeper like. They're all nuts, mouthy lunatics, aren't they? And he was very calm and composed. So he was very un-goalkeeper like, but didn't take away from any of his goalkeeping abilities, and wish him all the best for the future. What a way to go, seeing your days out in LA, picking up a nice big fat paycheck. Where did it all go wrong for Hugo? Well done, sir. Well done.
Lovely words there, Cracks. Lovely words. Chris, we're going to come round to you. We're going to let you have a chance about talking about Hugo. Then we look to close on a question to you and then to Pat and Rich. Chris, thoughts on Hugo departing the club? It looks like it was a lovely way to end it at the Spurs Stadium. Lovely as well for him to go out on a win. And I'm sure, like the rest of us, you're going to wish him and his family all the best, right?
Oh, so emotional when the news came out about it. I think he, like Patrick said, by far the best goalkeeper I've seen. Being, all the time I've been a fan of Tottenham. It sounded really good as well from what Pat said, the ceremony that it did for him. So I'm really, really glad. I'm so relieved that they actually did something as well for him, because I was nervous that there was going to be nothing. So with that, I'm super, super glad that they've done something. He's been, a captain, a servant for us for 11 years. That's incredible. And I think it's now Ben Davies that is now going to be our longest servant at Tottenham after him. So it's, oh man. And I met him. I was so glad that I've actually met him proudly. I helped him out once in my years back at Waitrose. He asked me for sugarless jam.
I wonder where that was going for a second then.
Yeah, that sounded a bit dodgy.
No.
I'm
I helped him out.
I'm glad you put Waitrose on the end there. I don't know where that was going to go.
Yeah,
Thank God for Waitrose.
Don't worry about it. That was it. His wife was there as well, who was absolutely lovely. What
important to clarify,
man.
put that in there.
Handsome man. Yeah, his wife was there. Don't worry, she's a lovely woman. But yeah, it was. He's been superb, and I think it was great to see that he left with a win as well. Yeah. And for him to go to LA, I think it just ends things really, really nicely. And I'm sure he'll be watching Tottenham wherever he is. So yeah, really, really happy for him. Really, really happy.
Amen. Totally agree. Look, final question to you all. We'll start with Pat and we'll make our way around. Pat, Ange was asked in the presser his thoughts on the table. He said, look, it's not just 3 points today, but it's 3 points that put you within a point of the top four. Ange replied, if I'm not mistaken, we're 3 points off the top. That man is eyeing that table up, Pat. He is looking at that table. He's refusing to even contemplate anything else the way it is. I'm not saying a word. I'm not saying anything. Are you saying anything, Pat, at the moment as we go into 2024?
All I can say is, could we? Could we?
Don't you bloody start.
Where's Lee?
Oh
my God.
Oh, don't. That's why
I'm playing. But no, honestly, it just shows the mentality. He's never wavered. He believes in his. And sometimes, don't get me wrong, it drives me crazy when I see sometimes the way we're playing. Like, we invite pressure on, and it's almost, they're a whisker away from stealing the ball and potentially tapping the ball into an open net. But if it works out, then you're in with 2 or 3 passes. It's so brave, it's so daring, it's courageous. Sometimes I'm shaking behind the sofa or in my seat, because it is literally edge of your seat football. But credit to him, man. And I think that the way he's transformed the team in 6 months is unbelievable. Obviously, some of the players aren't cut out to play the way that we want to play, but it's brilliant to see what he's done. And obviously, if you can get some of his targets, the guys that we're linked to and so on, we're just going to be even better. And I think a lot of rival fans, they're throwing a lot of mud and dirt on us because they're worried. Like, if we can do this within 6 months in such a short space of time, this squad isn't built in his image yet. But imagine, next year, like Christina says, this is literally our warm-up. This is our pre-season. So next year, just imagine what we could do. Hopefully, we won't have the turmoil. We won't lose someone, one of our best players right before the season starts, and we can go in even stronger and just more comfortable and more competent. The young guys will have had a season under their belt. And I think there's big things to come. you know, you don't want to get too carried away, but I'm loving what I'm seeing. And the table doesn't lie after this amount of time.
It doesn't.
To go through what we've gone through and still be that close and touching distance, everyone will tell you how good Arsenal are, how good Liverpool are, how good Man City are, and we're right in the thick of things. So, yeah, long may it continue. I hope we get top four this season. I think we will now, and we just got to keep building. You know, hopefully we've had our horrible sticky patch with the injuries and all of that stuff, and we can get Maddison back, Mickey van der Ven, Bentancur doesn't, you know, get injured again. I think a lot of people are going to be worried of what Tottenham can really do.
Yep. Pat, I've got to say, mate, thank you so much. No, it's been tricky out there recording, mate. Thank you for jumping on. Been a real pleasure. Thank you for all your contribution throughout 2023. We're going to see you, of course, in 2024. Big year for Arsenal and Spurs, mate. Thank you for being a massive part of it, Pat. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me on. Thank you for everyone in the comments. Some of the guys don't always take to everything I say. That's fair enough. You know, we're all entitled to our opinions. You're entitled to digest my opinion the way you want. That's part of life. That's part of football. I love all of you lot. And obviously I love all of you guys, Christina, Crackers, you know, Lee, Ricky, everyone I've worked with. It's been brilliant. So yeah, credit and shout out to everyone listening, watching this back. Happy New Year. We're all Spurs fans. Obviously we all want what's best for the club. And yeah, let's keep going.
Bless you, my man. Wishing you a healthy, happy new year. Chris, we're going to come around to you. We're going to close it with Cracks. Chris, look, I mean, Ange, the guy's such a joker. He's asked on that flare up on the bench. He said, look, it's fine. We were just wishing each other a happy new year. The guy's so charismatic. He's just such a human element of a manager that everyone needs in their life. Everyone needs Ange. I mean, we go into 2024 bouncing, don't we, Chris?
Hell yeah. Oh, my uncle. Good old Ange. All right. It's so good. It's just so happy spirits all around. Yeah, for sure. It's just such a lovely way to, end this year. But yeah, it's going to be good, guys. We've got to be patient. We've got to, we've got to keep calm with times like this, because there is, like I said, there's going to be ups and downs, as we go through, continue this season. But all in all, I think it's just going to be so positive, because we finally do have a plan. And I really do have high hopes for us to be coming. So, and I think it would be exciting to see what happens with the transfer as well. So let's just see. Let's build our team. Let's build Tottenham back together and play how we should be playing, which is exactly, how we are at the moment. It's entertaining. I feel like we've got that energy spirit back now. And it's exactly, what is to come. It's going to be even better and bigger. Yep. I'm telling you. So yeah, to end, being, fifth we're at the moment, yep. behind supposedly the winners of this league so far. So, it can't be all that bad. It can't be. So guys, let's just be more, I think we just need to be more positive and take time, be patient with it all, because it's going to happen. We just need to be patient.
Amen. Chris, thank you for, again, your absolutely huge contribution to Last One Spurs. We love having you part of the band. It's been an absolutely amazing year. Thank you so much for all your help and support to get us to where we've got to. We wish you a healthy, happy new year to you and your fam. Thank you so much again.
And to all the fans, honestly, you guys, you're like my own little family now. It's unbelievable how much this has just come together so quickly for me. So yeah, thank you so much to everyone, everyone's comments and everything like that. It really does mean a huge, a big deal to me. But just keep continuing with this amazing pod that what Ricky, it's just so incredible what Ricky has, done for us. So yeah, thank you all.
Listen, it's a team. Can I just say, I'm looking at Crackers and I feel so bad because Crackers has got New Year's Eve starts within 10 minutes, so I've got to really wrap this up here. And can I just say, this is why Crackers does it to an audience, in terms of when he goes out there and does it face to face and says, look, this is your time, it's going to finish. And while I'm still here, we're still trying to make it work. So Cracks, I'm going to close it with you if I can. I love you, my man. Look, just 5 months ago, Cracks, Ange Postecoglou and Tottenham were the second most bet on team, you won't believe me to say this, to be relegated in the 23-24 season. We now sit just 3 points off the top of the league in the midst of an injury crisis, only 4 months in to this man's project. Cracks, let's end it with you. Thoughts overall on that win and where we're going into 2024?
Well, it was a great digging character win today up against, as Pat said, a form team and a good team in Bournemouth. Do you know what? I think King Hoddle, once again, he nailed it in the comments a little while ago. The absolute spectre and DNA of both Mourinho and Conte that was put into this team, gone. And now such a great watch. Not you know, even when you're getting beat, there's always something to talk about. We were pulling our hair out under Conte, weren't we? Like some of these games, it was like, what was that? What is that? The frustration. Now, it's just having hope and something to hang your hat on and some attacking DNA brought back into Spurs, because that's what I got brought up on. I'm coming into my 50th year now almost of watching Spurs. And that's the diet I was brought up on. What Ange is giving me personally as a Spurs fan is what I was brought up on. That is, you know, that's the mother's milk for me. What he's doing, what he's all about. So long may it continue. Where it takes us, I don't know. Can we? Yeah, of course we can. Will we? That's a totally different question. But nobody's tearing this league up, Rick. No one's tearing it up. And I'm looking at a team absolutely decimated with injuries and with some unbelievable players to come back. They come back at the right time, fresh and fit, and God willing, stay clear of injuries and a few results, then why not? It's all about those last 7 or 8 games in this league. That's where your captain steers the ship through the icebergs, you know, and Captain Pep is the man that knows his way through them Antarctic waters. Does Ange? I mean, well, you wouldn't put it past him, would you? He's just, he's as genius as he is nuts. So there's every chance. But look, I just want to wish everybody in the comments and watches and like stops us in the street for like a chat and that as well. It's insane, but absolutely love it. You know, read the comments. It's 3:30 here in Melbourne. Hello from Palm Springs, you know, hello from Azerbaijan, Timbuktu, the Canary Islands and Tottenham High Road and everywhere in between. It is nuts, Rick. It's been a great year. We had that big meet up together for the awards ceremony and I met Pat for the first time. What a guy. Really good guy. All of us together, we had a great night.
Thank you.
Robbed at Anfield by a Liverpool pod. There's a shock. But but it's nuts, Rick. Even Dan, a quick story before we go. Just before Christmas, I dived into Niketown to pick up a few presents for the lad for Christmas. As I'm looking round, the guy that's working in the Tottenham section at Niketown comes over and says, "You're right, Crackers, love the show." This is the guy working there, right? And I've got an armful of Jordan gear under me. I hope he ain't listening, the lad, because he ain't had his presents yet. It's not Christmas Day till January the 6th. So, so anyway, he grabs a selfie and about 4 or 5 sort of Chinese or Japanese tourists are looking. And all of a sudden, because the guy from Nike's getting a couple of selfies with me, they think I'm some Western superstar. They must think, well, he must be someone because Nike staff are grabbing him for selfies. So I then proceeded to be followed around Niketown by these tourists taking photos and coming over with thumbs up. This is what that show does. It's crazy. All of a sudden, I've turned into Travis Scott. Like, it's just, or Kanye West, or like some Hollywood film star. It's like, I'm
cool.
I'm a mid-50-year-old retired train driver. Like, and all of a sudden, people are following me around like I'm Hollywood. I ain't even Cricklewood, Rick, let alone Hollywood. That's this show for you. That's what it does. It's been a crazy year.
I was going to say more Brentwood, but there you go, I tell you. Listen, I've got to say, it has been an unbelievable year for Last One on Spurs. As Cracks mentioned there, obviously, of course, we scooped an award at the Football Content Awards. This podcast did get the most listened to Tottenham Hotspur fan podcast for 2023. And again, that can't be done without the wonderful, loyal viewers and listeners that we have, not just here, not just in the globe, but just around the world, everywhere. Like I say, you guys make it possible. But I've got to say, without the amazing viewers, the listeners, about this amazing contributor panel that come every single week, some of them twice a week, to come and do Last One on Spurs throughout the pleasure of their own heart. I can't thank them enough. Cracks, Chris, Pat, it's always a pleasure. And like you said, it is like talking to family. So I want to say, guys, thank you so much. I want to wish you and your families a very, very healthy, happy new year. Things haven't changed. It was a late finish. That's the story of my life. A lot of things are late finishes these days. I tell you they are. But from all of us here at Last One on Spurs, I want to wish you all guys out there a very healthy, a very happy 2024 to come your way. Please enjoy the new year, however you choose to do so. We love you all. So again, guys, thank you so much. We end on a win. Arsenal end on a defeat. We've had a great end to the year. For all of us here, guys, please keep safe, keep well. And as always,